Laura Vitale, and on this episode of Laura in the Kitchen, I want to show you how I make my apple rings. I also call them apple donuts. They're so good, so easy. You don't have to worry about a yeasted dough, but they taste just like the most incredible apple donut ever. Let me run you through the ingredients so we can get started because it doesn't take a whole lot. You need all-purpose flour, sugar, salt, buttermilk, egg, vegetable oil, vanilla extract, apples, and you also need some frying oil like vegetable oil and some granulated sugar mixed with cinnamon. That's going to be the coating on the outside. They are so fantastic, you cannot even imagine. What I have here is some vegetable oil. I have enough to come about halfway up my heavy bottom pot here, and I've got my thermometer because I'm looking for this to get to about 360 degrees. That is like my happy spot when it comes to frying. I also have some apples that I started prepping, but I was going to show you what I do. Now I'm using Honeycrisp. They're my favorite apple. They cook really well, so that's what I'm going to use, and they're not too tart, therefore there's not going to be a big contrast between the sweet coating and then the tart apple. There's still going to be some contrast, of course, but not as much, but you can use any apple you want. So you peel your apple, right? And then as you go, so I cut mine into rings using a knife because you can see I get nice like 1/4 inch slices. If I were to use my mandolin, they come out way too thin. And I find that they kind of disintegrate into my frying oil, so I just do it by hand, and if they're not perfect, that's fine. I'm just looking for them to be about the same thickness. And as I go, you just kind of take your apple core and you just do that. So I'll show you what I mean by as I go. I'm going to continue this in a minute, but so this is a brand new apple, right? You get in here, you take the first little bit out, and you cut your slice, right? And then you do another one. And now as you go, you get rid of the core. So I'm just gonna keep on slicing, and then that way we have all the apples ready and we'll be able to fry them up. Apples all done. Now, to my buttermilk, I'm going to add my egg along with my veg oil and a really good splash of vanilla. Now you're wondering, why aren't you adding any cinnamon to your batter, Miss Thang? And that's because I'm using it for the coating, and I just don't want too much cinnamon because then I feel like it overpowers the flavor of the apple. I love when a spice complements something, not overpowers it. So you know cinnamon complements apples really well, but if it overpowers it, then what's the point? You know what I mean? So I'm just mixing all of my wet ingredients together just a bit, and now I'm going to pour them into my dry. But before I do that, I just want to give that a quick little mix. I'm going to pour this wet batter, or my wet mixture into my dry, and then just whisk it all together. All right, that is perfect. Temperature is up on the oil. So now you just take your apple, you dunk it in there. You got to make sure it's really coating well, and then you just drop that right in. Do just a few at a time because you don't want to drop the temperature of the oil too much because then your little donuts absorb way too much oil. So I'm just going to do a few at a time, and I'm going to let them cook for a few minutes and then show you what they look like when they're done. Taking the last 3 out. Now it's really important that you don't slice your apples too thin because if you do, then they cook too much on the inside and your donut kind of won't hold together that well. They'll still be delicious, but it won't hold together really well. You can see I kind of just get them, this is all just batter. I kind of just get rid of all the extra grease when they come out, and then you just coat them in cinnamon sugar. And then you place them on your plate. And these really need to be eaten right away for them to kind of hold their shape and texture. Otherwise, because there's apple inside, such a big amount of apple, they will kind of start to fall apart and soften. Again, still delicious. It would still be incredible underneath a big dollop of ice cream, but not for this purpose. Like, it won't hold together like that. I'm gonna go for one that I just took off a little bit ago because the ones I just took off are really hot. So hot though. Look at that. Perfect amount of batter, not too much batter. The apple is just perfectly cooked through, still has a little bit of a bite. Again, it helps you kind of hold it But they're perfect, they're easy, they're delicious, they're simple, and everyone loves a good apple fritter. So go to laurainthekitchen.com to get the written recipe. I hope you enjoyed spending time with me, and I'll see you next time. Bye.